Well, let's quickly move on to our top story. There is a real clash in terms of whether or not states are willing to allow flights to start operating from Monday. That's what the centre has said. It is really a centre versus state issue, particularly the largest one between Maharashtra, Mumbai being India's commercial capital, and the government at the centre. We'll focus on that. Now, as far as the Maharashtra government is concerned, there is no permission for flight resumption. The Maharashtra government says that the lockdown order continues. It has not been amended for flights. This is their own lockdown order. Now, the Civil Aviation Ministry has said that flights will go ahead and that domestic flights must resume on Monday. Go Air, for its part, says that they need clarity before they start selling tickets. Now, the Tamil Nadu government is also part of this. They say that they are not keen on flights presently. The Chhattisgarh government has said that the quarantine of passengers will be needed. The Punjab Chief Minister says that mandatory home quarantine of all people entering the states for 14 days, including obviously air passengers, must take place. But after the big announcement by the centre allowing flights to restart from Monday onwards, there is now open confusion on whether or not these flights will operate, at least to some states. I'm joined now by my colleague Purva Chitnis and Sam Daniel. Purva in Mumbai. Purva, what exactly does the state government say?
Well, at this point of time, the state government has just said that the lockdown order which they passed on the 19th of May, it still stands. So, if you remember, when the centre came out with its lockdown 4.0 order and the MHA came out with its order, Maharashtra government also, in line with the centre, had come out with its own order on 19th May, and that order specifically says that the rail and the air travel is not permitted at this point of time, and that is until May 31st. So now when the centre announced, this Civil Aviation Ministry announced that the flights will resume, Maharashtra government was expected to come out with an amendment to that order which says that the operations of airlines could resume. But that has not happened yet, and that is what the Maharashtra government says, that at this point of time the order still stands. Now, also important to note that there is still one more day to go. Tomorrow, if at all the order is amended or not, is yet to be seen. But even if if they allow the flights to resume, now also important to note, because the taxis and the cab aggregators in Mumbai are not allowed to fly. Remember, Mumbai is a complete red zone area, and that is why Maharashtra government was not very keen on allowing anyone to come into the state just yet. So that is also one of the main reasons why they have not yet amended the order.
And that is completely understandable, Purva. If there are no taxis, how are people going to get home? If there are no buses, etc., etc. Sam Daniel joins us as well. Sam, the Tamil Nadu state government also has its concerns about flight resumption. What are they saying?
They've written to the Civil Aviation Ministry, Vishnu, pointing out two facts. One, the Chennai numbers are rising at the moment. 10,000, close to 10,000, of the close to little over 15,000 across the state. Secondly, they point out across Tamil Nadu, no public transport, including taxis, and public are allowed to use the vehicles only for essential services, and in this context, they feel it will be difficult. And thirdly, they're also concerned about allowing people from other states to enter Chennai, because already migrants or people who are returning from other states account for a considerable number, and they don't want this to worsen the situation. Hence, they've written to defer it at least till 31st of May. We don't know at the moment whether they will throw the centre's line tomorrow, being an ally of the BJP. But at the moment, officials say they would like this to be deferred. But the airport is almost ready with all the touch-free and contactless system. But they say they will go ahead if the central government gives its nod to them. Whether the centre will bypass the state stand and go ahead, that's something we'll have to wait and watch. But at the moment, at least, it's unlikely Tamil Nadu government will say yes as things stand now.
Well, that's very interesting, Sam. And Purva, thanks very much for joining us. I'm also joined now by Amit Deshmukh, the senior minister in the Maharashtra government. Thanks, Mr. Deshmukh, very much for being with us. What's the bottom line here? Because it becomes a bit of a legal issue, doesn't it? Between what the state believes are its rights, obviously in a situation like this, and the Home Ministry, which has amended its rules to permit flights. So, is it a legal issue right now? Where does this stand?
Good evening. I think The issue is very clear as far as the government of Maharashtra is concerned. Mumbai and Pune, as you know, the cases are on the higher side, and we are battling COVID-19 virus with a lot of vigor. So I think it will be difficult, for the government to sort of allow any flights flying in the city of Mumbai or Pune. But at the same time, cities like Nasik, Nanded, and Nagpur, I think the operations have already started. I think they've started taking the bookings. So, government of Maharashtra's view is very, very clear that Mumbai being international city, we are battling COVID-19 virus. We are dealing with the cases every day. The cases yet have to flatten out. They have to yet get onto the decline mode. And until that happens, as far as Mumbai and Pune is concerned, we will have to wait for the flights to fly in these cities.
Mr. Deshmukh, what if the centre says no, you have to allow flights to land? What would you do then? Because that's what the centre is saying. That's what they are saying.
No,
when I did speak to my sources in the Civil Aviation Ministry, they said no, there is no question of stopping the flights. If this is the case, how is it going to function?
No, that's what I'm saying, that the centre and the state have to work together. There has to be a dialogue, and the dialogue has been there from day one. And I don't see any reason why the dialogue should not be there today. I think government of Maharashtra has made its position clear, and the situation on ground is sensitive. It's critical. We can't take any chance. And starting an airport is not only just starting an airport, but there are a whole lot of services that need to, accompany startup of an airport. So, and that is going to defeat, the lockdown. That is going to defeat, the kind of care that we're taking on ground. And we don't want to really take any chance. Like you said, that Tamil Nadu also is of the same opinion, and there are many other states who are of the same opinion. I think the centre, and I would through your channel appeal and request to the Civil Aviation Ministry that they should definitely consider what the states have to say, and how things work on ground, and work out a way.
So, Mr. Deshmukh, what could that way be? Because besides anything else, if there are to be flights, there have to be buses and there have to be taxis, whether it's aggregators or normal taxis. Now, that restarting those services themselves is going to be potentially time-consuming. Flights is supposed to start day after tomorrow. So, hypothetically speaking, how soon can even those restart?
I think we are reviewing this, and our Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray is monitoring the situation very, very minutely, diligently, and I think at the right time he will decide. The government will decide when this can happen. But emergency landings are still happening at these airports. People are using the airport where you have to fly people who are stranded abroad or in other emergency cases. So exceptions are made, but I think just to open railway stations and airports at this point in time, where Mumbai cases haven't come down, or they haven't shown any enough decline, I don't think it will be wise to push this idea at this point in time.
All right. So, as I wrap this up, the bottom line here, Mr. Deshmukh, you will not allow, to the best of your ability, flights to take place on Monday, right? You're not going to set up the infrastructure around flights.
We are insisting to the government of India and Civil Aviation that they should consider the position of the government of Maharashtra, and they should sort of in the interest of the state and people of the state, when the state government is requesting that Mumbai and Pune airports should not open, I think they should consider this fact and go with the state's request and believe in the state and what the state is doing is in the best interest of the people and their health and their safety.
All right, Mr. Deshmukh, thank you very much for joining us. It's a very clear position there from the Maharashtra government, saying that they want to talk to the centre, they want to resolve the issue, but at the moment they definitely don't want flights in Pune or in Mumbai. Other parts such as Nashik in Maharashtra are okay. They don't have a problem with that. Thanks, Mr. Deshmukh, very much indeed. I'm joined now by Captain Amit Singh. Thanks, Mr. Singh, very much for Captain Singh, very much for being with us. He follows the aviation sector very closely as an expert, also as a pilot. Mr. Singh, where does this leave our airlines? Because, for example, Go Air has issued a statement saying that, look, we need clarity on this. If we are going to be booking tickets and we can't operate flights, then where does that leave us? So, at a time when our airlines are distressed beyond words in many cases, this sort of mess taking place, where does that leave our airlines?
Well, from the aviation perspective, ICAO has an annex, which is a mandatory implementation clause, Annex 9 facilitation. Under facilitation, every state needs to have a National Air Transport Facilitation Committee. So I'm not sure if India has already formed or in the process of forming. The main objective of this committee is to facilitate and coordinate all these issues, what you are highlighting. So these should not have arisen in the first place had that committee been in place, because that committee has a member from every industry and all stakeholders basically. So you'll have customs, immigration, police, state, health. So everybody comes together and decision. So this seesaw will not happen. So again, like I was speaking to a very close friend, so they said basically people's emotions are getting affected.
Right.
So every time the lockdown begins to weather off, bookings open, so they see hope.
All right.
Then again, it shuts down. And the second important part is people are booking tickets, they are spending money, and the airlines are again keeping it in the credit shell, which is against the DGCA regulation. DGCA very clearly says in their car that it is the passenger's prerogative to decide to take a refund or keep it in the credit shell, and not a default process by the airline. So airline by default are keeping it in the credit shell, and people are helpless. They can't do anything.
Yeah. So a lot of confusion over there. Captain Singh, I take all of your points. Yeah. Thanks very much, sir. I'm also joined at this stage by Niranjan Shetty, spokesperson of the BJP Maharashtra, and Charan Singh Sapra, the spokesperson of the Congress. Mr. Shetty, let me come to you first. Okay. The state government has made it absolutely clear that they don't want flights to start on Monday. They're willing to talk about it, but they say, no, you have to listen to us. We are not ready. Why is the centre still insisting on these flights going ahead?
I think the Captain Singh just now informed you, basically, and I think everybody is aware why it is the necessity. I fail to understand why the state of Maharashtra is in no mood to allow the people, those who have been stranded from so many months, almost stranded in various kinds, especially in state of Maharashtra. And I think they should have allowed. I do not know what Mr. Deshmukh or the state government of Maharashtra wants from the centre.
No, they say they want more time. That's all. They say that Nashik, please go ahead, have flights. Pune and Mumbai don't, because people are suffering from COVID. They don't want to change anything on the ground.
See, Mr. Vishnu, I think I should not go into the politics, but unfortunately, the question that you have posed to me.
No, but go ahead, Mr. Shetty.
No, but then such kind of fear of Mr. Deshmukh is very uncalled for. Basically now we have been seeing how the Maharashtra, state government of Maharashtra is, unable to cope up with this, the bed facilities are not there. I'm really not making a political allegation.
No, but therefore, and you're right. I mean, Maharashtra is struggling with the situation to deal with the beds running out. So therefore, if he says, look, we can't have flights now coming in, what's wrong with what he's saying?
I'm saying fair enough. I'm not denying that whatever he's saying may be wrong perspective. But then he needs to understand also the central government's view. I think We are not allowing the COVID patient to travel from the air. We are asking all the necessary medical information of the person who's going to travel.
That's true.
I fail to understand where is the COVID patient traveling from the airline.
Yeah. No, that's a valid point. Charan Singh Sapra, come in over here. It's important for the Maharashtra government, obviously, to be cautious. Everybody would agree on that. But then there are those who say that, look, precautions are being taken. You can only enter if your Arogya Setu app status is green, your temperature is checked twice, you're wearing a full face mask, gloves, everything is provided to you. Where is the question of people being potentially infected? And that, there has to be a return to normalcy. How would you respond to that, Mr. Sapra?
See, Mr. Vishnu, number one, it was Tamil Nadu who raised the red flag first. Maharashtra has raised this red flag today, knowing that we need to be cautious. Now, tell me one thing, that you are saying that everybody will be coming from that Arogya Setu will check and everybody will be having masks, all precautions will be taken. But these are just thermal checking which they will be doing. They are not doing any swab test over there. And further, in Mumbai is a red zone which is authenticated by everybody, by the state government as well as the central government. So in a red zone where there are no cabs working, there are no buses working, we have a sort of curfew over here after 7 o'clock in the evening till morning 7 o'clock. How the passengers who will be arriving from elsewhere, they'll be arriving in Mumbai, where they'll go, how they will go when there are no taxis, no Ola, Uber, no other taxis. So it will be very difficult. So in fact, the Maharashtra government is saying, give us some time, let us work out a strategy. You can go at Nasik, like the Honorable Minister said, and Mumbai and Pune is really difficult. Every day the BJP is, raising questions on Congress and the Mahavikas Agadi. But still they are saying that get in more passengers. See, they are contradicting themselves.
Okay, all right. Okay, gentlemen, I need to wrap this up over here. I need to move on to some other news. Mr. Shetty, quickly, sir, 30 seconds, yes.
Vishnu, that's why I did not want to score a political point. But what Mr. Saranjit Singh Chapra is saying, I think he's totally contradicting his own statement. Now you need to understand what the central government wants to do is the movement of the people. Now there are so many people who are stranded, and he's saying we are accusing. I do not know. It is a responsibility. 72 hours is enough for you to, by 25th, nothing is going into a hurry. Isn't 72 hours enough for you to understand? One place you are allowing the state transport to function. You are allowing all the other buses.
Okay, gentlemen, let's try not do politics on an issue of safety, health. I think everybody is concerned about that. I need to wrap this up because there is more of a focus on aviation just now, with the Civil Aviation Minister Hardeep Puri also saying that international flight resumption, that's been another huge demand, that's going to happen perhaps sooner than later.
All these, I think, are preparations for international civil aviation to commence. I can't put a date on it, but if somebody says, can it be done by August, September, my response is, why not earlier?